mega disasters that happened first and last time in humanity. Throughout history, humanity has witnessed incredible moments of growth, achievement, and discovery. But alongside these triumphs lie sobering episodes of devastation, mega disasters so monumental that they shaped the trajectory of civilizations and revealed our vulnerability to forces beyond our control. These catastrophes, whether natural or man-made, have tested humanity's resilience, ingenuity, and capacity to endure the unimaginable. From supervolcano eruptions that brought the world to the brink of extinction, to pandemics that reshaped societies, and from asteroid impacts that reset ecosystems, to industrial accidents that scarred entire generations, these disasters remind us of the delicate balance between nature, technology, and human survival. Some occurred for the first time, catching humanity off guard. Others were so overwhelming that they remain unique in history, never to be repeated. In this narrative, we will journey through the stories of these mega disasters, uncovering their causes, examining their impact, and reflecting on the lessons they offer. We will explore events that range from the ancient past to the modern era, connecting their narratives to the broader themes of human resilience, scientific innovation, and the eternal quest for understanding. Introduction: humanity's fragility in the face of nature. About 74,000 years ago, Earth experienced one of its most catastrophic natural events, the eruption of the Toba supervolcano in present-day Indonesia. This disaster was so monumental that it nearly extinguished early human populations, reshaping the course of evolution and survival. Today, the Toba eruption stands as a stark reminder of the unpredictable power of nature and its ability to challenge humanity's resilience. This eruption was not just a geological phenomenon, it was a defining moment for our species, revealing both the vulnerabilities and the tenacity of early humans. In this segment, we delve into the story of the Toba supervolcano, exploring its causes, impact, and legacy. Understanding supervolcanoes, the power beneath. To comprehend the magnitude of the Toba eruption, we must first understand what makes a supervolcano unique. Unlike regular volcanoes, supervolcanoes erupt with extraordinary force, spewing vast amounts of magma and gases into the atmosphere. They are capable of triggering global climatic changes and reshaping ecosystems. The Toba supervolcano is one of only a few supervolcanoes identified on Earth, and its caldera, the large depression formed after its eruption, is now filled with water, forming Lake Toba. With a diameter of approximately 100 kilometers, the caldera is a visible testament to the colossal power unleashed during the eruption. Scientists estimate that Toba's eruption released 2,800 cubic kilometers of volcanic material, making it the largest volcanic event in the last 2 million years. To put this into perspective, the eruption of Mount St. Helens in 1980 released only 1 cubic kilometer of material. The timeline of disaster, a blow to Earth's stability. The Toba supervolcano erupted with devastating intensity, sending towering plumes of ash, smoke, and debris into the sky. The immediate aftermath was catastrophic. Pyroclastic flows, a deadly mix of hot gases, ash, and rocks, devastated the surrounding regions, annihilating flora and fauna for miles. As the ash clouds spread across the atmosphere, they blocked sunlight, triggering what is known as a volcanic winter. Global temperatures dropped by an estimated 3 to 5 degrees Celsius, causing widespread climate instability. Ecosystems across the planet were affected, leading to mass extinctions of plant and animal species. The human toll, a bottleneck in survival. Early humans, who were already vulnerable due to their reliance on natural resources, faced dire consequences in the aftermath of the Toba eruption. Food supplies diminished as vegetation withered and animals perished. The dramatic cooling of the planet disrupted hunting and gathering practices, forcing human populations to adapt or perish. Genetic studies have revealed that humanity experienced a population bottleneck during this period, with numbers dropping to as few as a few thousand individuals. This bottleneck is evident in the reduced genetic diversity observed in modern humans, suggesting that the survivors of the Toba eruption formed the foundation of our species today. Despite the severity of the disaster, early humans demonstrated remarkable resilience. Archaeological evidence suggests that they developed innovative strategies to cope with the challenges posed by the volcanic winter, such as migrating to regions with more stable climates and learning to exploit new resources. The ripple effects: climate, evolution, and ecosystems. The impact of the Toba eruption extended beyond its immediate destruction. It reshaped the planet in ways that influenced evolution, climate patterns, and ecosystems for thousands of years. The volcanic winter caused widespread droughts, affecting regions as far away as Africa and the Middle East. These changes in climate forced species to adapt, leading to shifts in biodiversity. For early humans, the eruption served as a catalyst for adaptation and innovation. The harsh conditions encouraged the development of new survival techniques, such as using fire to cook food and creating tools for hunting. These advancements not only helped humans survive, but also laid the groundwork for cultural and technological progress. Modern scientific insights. Lessons from Toba. The study of the Toba supervolcano has provided valuable insights into the potential threats posed by supervolcanic eruptions and their long-term consequences. By examining the geological layers of ash and debris deposited by Toba, scientists have been able to reconstruct the sequence of events and estimate the scale of the eruption. One important lesson from Toba is the necessity of monitoring supervolcanoes to prevent future catastrophes. Today, systems like the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory track volcanic activity, using advanced technology to detect changes in magma movement and seismic activity. While predicting supervolcanic eruptions remains a challenge, these efforts represent a crucial step in safeguarding humanity. The study of Toba also underscores the importance of understanding climate feedback mechanisms. By examining the effects of volcanic winters, scientists gain insights into how sudden climate changes impact ecosystems and populations, informing strategies for addressing modern environmental challenges. The legacy of Toba, a catalyst for resilience. The Toba supervolcano eruption serves as a reminder of humanity's vulnerability to natural disasters, but it also highlights our capacity for resilience and adaptation. Despite the immense challenges posed by the event, early humans found ways to survive and rebuild, demonstrating the ingenuity and determination that define our species. The legacy of Toba is not just a story of destruction. It is a testament to humanity's ability to overcome adversity and thrive. As we reflect on this mega disaster, let us also acknowledge the lessons it offers about preparing for and responding to similar events in the future. Introduction: the day the Earth changed forever. Approximately 66 million years ago, a catastrophic event unfolded that would forever alter the history of life on Earth. A massive asteroid, estimated to be around 10 kilometers in diameter, collided with the planet near what is now the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. Known as the Chicxulub impact, this event triggered a mass extinction that wiped out approximately 75% of Earth's species, including the dinosaurs. Though it occurred long before humans existed, the Chicxulub impact is a defining moment in Earth's history. It serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the profound influence of cosmic events on our planet. In this segment, we'll explore the causes, impact, and legacy of the Chicxulub asteroid, as well as the ways in which it shaped the evolutionary path that eventually led to humanity. Understanding the cause. A cosmic collision. The Chicxulub impact was the result of an asteroid striking Earth with unimaginable force. Traveling at a velocity of roughly 20 kilometers per second, the asteroid carried an energy equivalent to billions of nuclear bombs. Upon impact, it created a crater over 150 kilometers wide and nearly 20 kilometers deep, a scar that remains partially visible today beneath the Gulf of Mexico. The asteroid is believed to have originated from the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, a region of space filled with debris left over from the formation of the solar system. Scientists theorize that gravitational disturbances, possibly caused by the movement of Jupiter, altered the asteroid's trajectory, sending it hurtling toward Earth. What makes the Chicxulub asteroid particularly significant is its timing. The impact occurred at the end of the Cretaceous period, a time when ecosystems were thriving and biodiversity was at its peak. This sudden external force brought an abrupt end to an era that had lasted for tens of millions of years. The immediate aftermath: fire, darkness, and cold. The Chicxulub impact unleashed a series of catastrophic events that fundamentally altered Earth's environment. The initial collision vaporized the asteroid and large portions of Earth's crust, ejecting massive amounts of debris into the atmosphere. This debris rained down as fireballs, igniting widespread wildfires across the planet. The heat generated by the impact and subsequent fires caused global temperatures to rise sharply, creating a brief but intense period of warming. However, this was quickly followed by a dramatic cooling effect. The soot and aerosols released into the atmosphere blocked sunlight, plunging the Earth into a state of near total darkness. This phenomenon, known as an impact winter, lasted for months or even years, disrupting photosynthesis and collapsing food chains. The cooling effect was exacerbated by the release of sulfur dioxide from the vaporized rocks, which formed sulfuric acid clouds in the atmosphere. Acid rain poured down, further damaging ecosystems and contributing to the extinction of plant and animal species. The mass extinction, a global reset. The Chicxulub impact is widely regarded as the primary cause of the Cretaceous-Paleogene (KP) mass extinction, one of the 5 major extinction events in Earth's history. This event led to the disappearance of numerous species, including the dinosaurs, which had dominated the planet for over 160 million years. The extinction was not limited to terrestrial life. Marine ecosystems were also severely affected, with nearly 90% of plankton species and many larger marine animals wiped out. The collapse of these foundational species had cascading effects on the food web, decimating ocean biodiversity. Interestingly, not all life was equally affected. Small mammals, birds, and certain reptiles managed to survive, likely due to their ability to adapt to the harsh post-impact conditions. These survivors would go on to play pivotal roles in the evolutionary processes that followed, setting the stage for the rise of mammals and, eventually, humans. Geological evidence, tracing the impact. The discovery of the Chicxulub crater in the late 20th century provided definitive evidence of the asteroid impact. Geologists studying the region found layers of sediment containing high concentrations of iridium, a rare element more commonly found in asteroids than on Earth. This iridium layer, known as the KP boundary, is present in geological records around the world, serving as a marker of the catastrophic event. Seismic studies of the Yucatan Peninsula revealed the circular shape and massive dimensions of the crater, confirming its origin as an impact site. Further analysis of rocks from the region uncovered evidence of shocked quartz, a type of mineral deformation that occurs only under extreme pressure, such as during an asteroid impact or nuclear explosion. These findings have allowed scientists to reconstruct the events surrounding the Chicxulub impact, providing a detailed picture of its devastating effects and its role in shaping Earth's history. The ripple effects, evolutionary and geological legacy. The Chicxulub impact had profound and far-reaching consequences that extended well beyond the immediate aftermath. By causing the mass extinction of dominant species like the dinosaurs, the event created ecological niches that allowed other organisms to thrive. Mammals, which had previously been small and relatively inconspicuous, began to diversify and occupy new roles in ecosystems. This shift in biodiversity set the stage for the rise of primates and ultimately humans. In a sense, the Chicxulub impact reshaped the evolutionary trajectory of life on Earth, paving the way for the emergence of intelligent species capable of reflecting on such events. Geologically, the impact also contributed to changes in Earth's surface and climate. The redistribution of sediments and the release of greenhouse gases influenced global climate patterns, while the formation of the crater itself became a unique geological feature that continues to be studied today. Modern implications. The threat of asteroids. The Chicxulub impact serves as a stark reminder of the potential dangers posed by near-Earth objects, NEOs. While such events are extremely rare, their consequences can be catastrophic, underscoring the importance of monitoring and mitigating asteroid threats. Space agencies around the world, including NASA and ESA, have developed programs to detect and track near-Earth objects. Efforts such as the DART Double Asteroid Redirection Test Mission aim to test methods of deflecting asteroids, ensuring that humanity is better prepared to prevent future impacts. The study of the Chicxulub impact has also deepened our understanding of planetary defense, emphasizing the need for international collaboration in addressing existential risks from space. By learning from past events, we can take proactive steps to protect our planet and its inhabitants. Introduction: a plague that reshaped the world. In the 14th century, humanity confronted a crisis unlike anything it had ever experienced. The Black Death, a deadly pandemic caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis, swept across Europe, Asia, and North Africa, leaving devastation in its wake. This catastrophe claimed tens of millions of lives, wiping out nearly 1/3 of the world's population and reshaping societies in profound ways. The Black Death was not simply a public health crisis. It was a transformative event that altered economies, social structures, and even cultural norms. In this segment, we'll explore the causes, impact, and legacy of humanity's deadliest pandemic, examining how it changed the course of history and continues to inform our understanding of disease and resilience. Origins of the Black Death, where it began. The Black Death is believed to have originated in Central Asia, where the Yersinia pestis bacterium was harbored in rodent populations. Fleas carried the bacterium, spreading it to humans as infected rodents migrated across trade routes. The pandemic first appeared in the early 1340 SS, spreading rapidly through the Silk Road and reaching the Crimea. From Crimea, the disease travelled to Europe in 1347 via trading ships carrying infected rats. By the time the ships docked in Italy, the disease had already begun its rampage, moving swiftly across the continent. Within years, the Black Death had reached almost every corner of Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. The symptoms and spread of the plague. The Black Death manifested in three forms: bubonic, pneumonic, and septicemic, each with its own devastating symptoms. Bubonic plague, the most common form, caused swollen lymph nodes or buboes, fever, chills, and excruciating pain. Pneumonic plague affected the lungs, resulting in severe respiratory distress, while septicemic plague infected the blood, leading to rapid organ failure. The disease spread with astonishing speed, aided by the dense population centres and unsanitary conditions of medieval cities. Fleas carrying the bacterium thrived in the filth, while close contact between people facilitated human-to-human transmission. The absence of understanding about germs and infection exacerbated the problem, as fear and misinformation fueled the pandemic's advance. The scale of the disaster, lives lost and lives changed. The death toll of the Black Death was staggering, with estimates ranging from 75 to 200 million people worldwide. Entire villages were wiped out, and cities saw their populations halved or worse. The speed and severity of the pandemic overwhelmed communities, leaving them struggling to bury the dead and care for the sick. The psychological impact of such widespread loss was profound. Survivors grappled with grief, fear, and uncertainty, while social bonds were strained by distrust and desperation. In many cases, families abandoned infected members, and communities turned against one another, seeking scapegoats for the disaster. Beyond the immediate loss of life, the Black Death triggered long-term changes in society. The labour shortage caused by the pandemic led to the collapse of feudal systems, as surviving workers gained leverage to demand better wages and conditions. Economies were reshaped, paving the way for the emergence of early capitalism and new social dynamics. Cultural and religious responses to the Black Death. The Black Death challenged deeply held cultural and religious beliefs, forcing people to confront the fragility of life and the mysteries of suffering. For many, the pandemic was seen as divine punishment for sin, leading to an outpouring of religious devotion. Flagellant movements emerged, with individuals publicly whipping themselves in acts of penance. At the same time, the failure of religious institutions to provide comfort or answers during the crisis led to growing disillusionment. Clergy members were not spared from the disease, and their deaths created a leadership vacuum within the church. This erosion of faith laid the groundwork for later movements like the Protestant Reformation. Artists and writers also responded to the Black Death, capturing the horror and grief of the time. Works like The Dance of Death depicted skeletons leading the living to their graves, reflecting the omnipresence of mortality. These cultural expressions offer a haunting glimpse into the psyche of a world ravaged by plague. Unintended consequences. Scientific and social advancements. While the Black Death was a tragedy of unimaginable scale, it also acted as a catalyst for change and innovation. The labour shortage spurred technological advancements as communities sought ways to increase productivity with fewer workers. Agricultural practices improved, and new tools were developed to reduce reliance on human labour. The pandemic also prompted advancements in medicine and public health. Though germ theory was centuries away, the Black Death highlighted the importance of cleanliness and quarantine in controlling disease spread. Cities began implementing measures like improved sanitation and isolation practices, laying the groundwork for modern epidemiology. Socially, the pandemic accelerated the decline of feudalism and the rise of individualism. As survivors demanded greater freedoms and opportunities, the rigid hierarchies of medieval society began to crumble. This shift paved the way for the Renaissance, a period of cultural, scientific, and artistic flourishing that transformed Europe. Comparisons with modern pandemics. The lessons of the Black Death remain relevant as humanity continues to face pandemics like COVID-19. Both crises reveal the importance of scientific understanding, global cooperation, and effective communication in managing disease outbreaks. They also highlight the social and psychological toll of pandemics, underscoring the need for compassion and resilience in times of crisis. Advances in medicine and technology have allowed us to better combat diseases, but the legacy of the Black Death reminds us of the challenges posed by misinformation and fear. By studying the past, we can learn to respond more effectively to modern threats and build a healthier, more equitable world. Introduction. A blast that defied explanation. On the morning of June 30th, 1908, an extraordinary explosion tore through the skies above the remote forests of Siberia near the Tunguska River. The force of the blast flattened approximately 2,000 square kilometers of forest, equivalent to the area of a major city, yet no crater or traceable object was found at the impact site. This event, known as the Tunguska event, remains one of the most mysterious and significant cosmic disasters in modern history. Despite its enigmatic nature, the Tunguska event holds crucial scientific and historical importance. It serves as a stark reminder of the potential hazards posed by space objects and the fragility of life in the face of cosmic phenomena. In this segment, we'll explore the causes, impact, and enduring mystery of the Tunguska event, shedding light on an explosion that continues to fascinate researchers and historians alike. What happened on June 30th, 1908? The Tunguska event began with a fiery object streaking across the sky, witnessed by thousands of people across Siberia. Observers described a glowing ball of light, brighter than the sun, followed by a thunderous explosion that shattered windows, knocked people off their feet, and sent shockwaves rippling across the landscape. In the immediate aftermath, the forest surrounding the epicenter was devastated. Trees were uprooted and charred, lying in a radial pattern away from the blast site. Yet, despite the massive destruction, no crater was found, a detail that baffled scientists and fueled speculation. Reports from eyewitnesses varied, with some claiming to have seen the fiery object disintegrate before hitting the ground. This discrepancy added to the mystery, prompting questions about the nature of the explosion and the origins of the object that caused it. Theories about the cause, asteroids, comets, and cosmic forces. The absence of a crater made determining the cause of the Tunguska event particularly challenging. Over the decades, scientists have proposed numerous theories, each attempting to explain the unique characteristics of the explosion. The asteroid hypothesis. One widely accepted explanation is that the Tunguska event was caused by a small asteroid, roughly 50 to 60 meters in diameter, entering Earth's atmosphere. As the asteroid descended, the immense pressure and heat caused it to disintegrate mid-air, releasing energy equivalent to 10 to 15 megatons of TNT. This hypothesis aligns with the observed lack of a crater, as the object would have exploded before reaching the ground. The comet hypothesis. Another plausible theory suggests that the object was a fragment of a comet composed primarily of ice and gas. Comets, which originate from the outer regions of the solar system, are less dense than asteroids and are more likely to disintegrate in the atmosphere. This hypothesis explains the lack of physical debris at the impact site, as the icy composition would have vaporized upon entry. Other speculations, while the asteroid and comet hypotheses are the most scientifically grounded, other theories have emerged, ranging from natural gas explosions to speculative ideas involving extraterrestrial activity, or even experimental technologies. These fringe theories, while intriguing, lack substantial evidence and are largely dismissed by the scientific community. The scale of the impact, devastation beyond comprehension. The Tunguska event's energy release was immense, 10 to 15 megatons, comparable to the largest nuclear weapons ever detonated. This force flattened approximately 80 million trees and sent shockwaves that were detected as far away as Europe. Witnesses reported hearing the explosion up to 1,000 kilometers from the epicenter, underscoring the scale of its impact. The devastation extended beyond the physical destruction of the landscape. The explosion caused a temporary disturbance in the Earth's atmosphere, creating phenomena such as night glows, where the sky remained illuminated for days after the event. These atmospheric effects were recorded globally, further emphasizing the far-reaching consequences of the explosion. Remarkably, despite the immense destruction, there were no confirmed human fatalities. The remote location of the event likely prevented significant loss of life, as the area was sparsely populated. However, reports from local communities described injuries, displacement, and trauma caused by the explosion. Scientific investigations piecing together the puzzle. Early investigations into the Tunguska event were limited by its remote location and the logistical challenges of reaching the site. It wasn't until 1927, nearly 2 decades after the explosion, that the first scientific expedition was conducted by Soviet researcher Leonid Kulik. Kulik's team documented the radial pattern of fallen trees and collected eyewitness accounts, laying the foundation for future studies. However, they found no debris or impact crater, which only deepened the mystery surrounding the event. Subsequent expeditions focused on analyzing soil and tree samples from the impact site. Researchers detected traces of elements such as nickel and iridium, which are commonly found in space objects, supporting the asteroid hypothesis. Advances in satellite imagery and computer modeling have since allowed scientists to reconstruct the event with greater accuracy, though many questions remain unanswered. Lessons from Tunguska. Preparing for cosmic threats. The Tunguska event serves as a reminder of the potential dangers posed by near-Earth objects, NEOs, and the importance of monitoring and mitigating these threats. While such events are rare, their catastrophic potential underscores the need for proactive measures to safeguard humanity. Modern space agencies, including NASA and ESA, have developed programs to track NEOs and assess their risk to Earth. Technologies such as asteroid deflection methods are being explored, ensuring that humanity is better prepared to respond to future threats. The study of the Tunguska event has also contributed to our understanding of atmospheric explosions, informing safety protocols for aerial impacts and nuclear tests. By examining this historical event, scientists gain valuable insights into the dynamics of large-scale explosions and their environmental consequences. The enduring mystery, why it still captivates us. More than a century after the Tunguska event, its enigmatic nature continues to fascinate researchers, historians, and the public. The absence of definitive evidence and the unique characteristics of the explosion make it a compelling case study in cosmic phenomena. The Tunguska event also resonates as a symbol of humanity's vulnerability in the face of the universe's unpredictable forces. It reminds us of our place within the cosmos and the importance of scientific exploration in understanding and mitigating risks beyond Earth. Introduction: The Day the Atom Rebelled. On April 26, 1986, an explosion at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in the Soviet Union, modern-day Ukraine, shocked the world. It was the worst nuclear accident in history, a tragic combination of human error, flawed reactor design, and a lack of safety culture. The disaster released vast amounts of radioactive material into the atmosphere, contaminating large swaths of Europe and leaving an enduring legacy of environmental and human suffering. The Chernobyl nuclear disaster is not just a cautionary tale about the dangers of nuclear energy. It is also a profound reflection on humanity's relationship with technology, accountability, and resilience. In this segment, we'll explore the sequence of events that led to the explosion, its devastating impact, and the lessons it offers for the future. The night of the disaster, a chain of errors. The events leading up to the Chernobyl disaster began during a late-night safety test on Reactor 4. The test aimed to evaluate whether the reactor's turbines could provide enough power to cool the core in the event of a blackout. However, a series of procedural violations and miscalculations set the stage for catastrophe. Operators, under pressure to complete the test, disabled critical safety systems and lowered the reactor's power output to dangerous levels. Unfamiliar with the reactor's design flaws, the operators attempted to stabilize the system, inadvertently creating a highly unstable configuration. At 1:23 a.m., a sudden power surge caused a steam explosion, tearing through the reactor core and destroying the building. The explosion released massive amounts of radioactive isotopes, including iodine-131, cesium-137, and strontium-90 into the atmosphere. These materials, carried by wind, began to spread across Europe, creating a nuclear nightmare that would last for generations. The immediate impact: chaos and heroism. In the aftermath of the explosion, the scene at Chernobyl was one of chaos and confusion. The plant workers and emergency responders were ill-equipped to handle a nuclear disaster of such magnitude. Many were unaware of the severity of the radiation exposure they faced as they worked tirelessly to contain the damage. The first responders, including firefighters and plant operators, displayed remarkable courage, battling fires and trying to prevent further explosions. Tragically, their heroism came at a great cost. Many succumbed to acute radiation sickness within weeks of the disaster, becoming some of the earliest casualties of Chernobyl. The nearby town of Pripyat, home to plant workers and their families, was evacuated 36 hours after the explosion. By then, residents had already been exposed to dangerous levels of radiation, and the delay in evacuation highlighted the shortcomings of the Soviet Union's response to the disaster. The environmental fallout, a contaminated landscape. The Chernobyl disaster caused unprecedented environmental damage, contaminating an area of approximately 2,600 square kilometers, now known as the Chernobyl exclusion zone. Radiation levels in the zone remain dangerously high, rendering it uninhabitable for humans. The explosion devastated the local flora and fauna, with many species suffering from radiation-induced mutations and population declines. The red forest, a pine forest located near the plant, turned reddish-brown and died following the release of radioactive particles, becoming one of the most contaminated areas on Earth. Despite the destruction, the exclusion zone has become an unintended sanctuary for wildlife, as the absence of human activity has allowed nature to reclaim the land. Species such as wolves, lynxes and bears now roam the zone, offering a glimpse into the resilience of ecosystems in the face of adversity. The human toll, health and social consequences. The human cost of the Chernobyl disaster extends far beyond the immediate casualties. Thousands of people, including plant workers, emergency responders and residents, were exposed to high levels of radiation. The long-term health effects include increased rates of thyroid cancer, leukemia, and other radiation-related illnesses. The disaster also had profound social and psychological impacts. Hundreds of thousands of people were forcibly displaced from their homes, losing their communities and livelihoods. The trauma of the evacuation, combined with the stigma of radiation exposure, left many struggling to rebuild their lives. Chernobyl also highlighted the inadequacies of government communication and transparency. The Soviet authorities initially downplayed the severity of the disaster, delaying critical information that could have mitigated the impact. This lack of accountability eroded public trust and underscored the need for openness and honesty in crisis management. Global implications, the nuclear debate. The Chernobyl disaster ignited a global debate about the safety and viability of nuclear energy. While it prompted some countries to adopt stricter safety standards, others chose to phase out nuclear power altogether, citing concerns about its risks. The disaster also led to significant advancements in nuclear safety. International organizations such as the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, developed new guidelines and protocols to prevent similar incidents. Modern reactors are designed with enhanced safety features, and regular stress tests are conducted to ensure their resilience against potential failures. Despite these improvements, the legacy of Chernobyl continues to shape public perceptions of nuclear energy. The disaster serves as a reminder of the importance of vigilance, accountability, and ethical decision-making in the management of complex technologies. Introduction: a wave that shook the world. On December 26, 2004, the world witnessed one of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history, the Indian Ocean tsunami. Triggered by a massive undersea earthquake off the coast of Sumatra, Indonesia, this cataclysmic event unleashed waves as high as 30 meters, devastating coastal regions across 14 countries. The tsunami claimed more than 230,000 lives and displaced millions, leaving behind a trail of destruction and sorrow. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami was not only a tragedy of unimaginable scale, but also a stark reminder of nature's raw power and humanity's vulnerability. In this segment, we'll explore the causes, impact, and global response to the tsunami, reflecting on the lessons it offers for disaster preparedness and resilience. The earthquake, a seismic catalyst. The tsunami was triggered by an undersea earthquake, which occurred at 00:58:53 UTC and registered a magnitude of 9.1 to 9.3 on the Richter scale. This earthquake was the result of the Indian tectonic plate subducting beneath the Burma plate, causing a sudden release of energy along a fault line that stretched over 1,600 kilometers. The violent movement of the seabed displaced an enormous volume of water, initiating a series of powerful waves. This earthquake is one of the strongest ever recorded, comparable in magnitude to the 1964 Alaska earthquake and the 1960 Valdivia earthquake in Chile. Its epicenter was located approximately 160 kilometers off the west coast of northern Sumatra. At a depth of 30 kilometers, the seismic activity lasted for several minutes, sending shock waves through the Earth's crust and the surrounding ocean. The waves, unstoppable forces of nature. The tsunami waves traveled across the Indian Ocean at incredible speeds, reaching up to 800 kilometers per hour in deep water. As the waves approached shallow coastal areas, their speed decreased, but their height increased dramatically. This phenomenon, known as wave shoaling, transformed the tsunami into towering walls of water that crashed onto the shores with devastating force. Countries closest to the epicenter, such as Indonesia, Thailand, and Sri Lanka, were struck within minutes or hours of the earthquake. In some cases, waves reached 30 meters in height, inundating entire towns and villages. Communities thousands of kilometers away, including those in East Africa, experienced waves hours later, underscoring the vast reach of the disaster. The human toll. Unprecedented loss. The human impact of the tsunami was staggering. More than 230,000 people lost their lives, and millions were displaced from their homes. Indonesia was the hardest hit country, with the province of Aceh experiencing widespread devastation. Sri Lanka, India, Thailand, and the Maldives also suffered significant casualties and damage. Entire families were swept away in seconds, leaving survivors to grapple with unimaginable grief. The sheer scale of the loss overwhelmed communities, many of which lacked the resources to respond effectively. Thousands of children were orphaned, and survivors faced dire conditions in overcrowded shelters and refugee camps. The psychological toll was equally profound. The trauma of witnessing loved ones perish, and the destruction of entire communities left deep scars on survivors. Many struggled with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and other mental health challenges, highlighting the long-term effects of such disasters. The environmental impact, a changed landscape. The tsunami transformed the physical landscape of affected regions, causing extensive damage to ecosystems and infrastructure. Coastal areas were inundated with salt water, rendering agricultural land barren and destroying habitats for marine and terrestrial life. Coral reefs and mangroves, which play crucial roles in coastal protection and biodiversity, were severely damaged. In some areas, the force of the waves created new geographic features, such as sand dunes and lagoons, while eroding existing shorelines. The deposition of debris and sediment altered ecosystems, affecting both human livelihoods and wildlife. Efforts to restore these environments have been ongoing, but the scars of the tsunami remain visible to this day. The global response, mobilizing aid. The scale of the disaster prompted an unprecedented global response. Governments, humanitarian organizations, and individuals mobilized resources to provide immediate relief and long-term support to affected regions. The United Nations launched a massive emergency operation, coordinating efforts across multiple countries to deliver food, water, medical supplies, and shelter. Countries around the world contributed billions of dollars in aid, with donations pouring in from governments, corporations, and ordinary citizens. NGOs such as the Red Cross and Médecins Sans Frontières played critical roles in providing medical care and rebuilding infrastructure. Despite challenges in coordination and logistics, these efforts helped save lives and lay the groundwork for recovery. One notable aspect of the global response was the role of technology in facilitating disaster relief. Satellite imagery and communication networks allowed responders to assess damage and prioritize resources, while social media helped raise awareness and funds. Lessons learned, building resilience. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami highlighted several key lessons for disaster preparedness and resilience. One of the most important takeaways was the need for effective early warning systems. Many lives could have been saved if communities had been alerted to the impending tsunami and evacuated in time. Following the disaster, countries in the region collaborated to establish the Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning System, which monitors seismic activity and issues alerts to coastal populations. Another lesson was the importance of community-based disaster preparedness. Educating residents about the signs of a tsunami and providing training on evacuation procedures can significantly reduce casualties. In some areas, traditional knowledge and practices, such as recognizing unusual changes in sea level, proved invaluable in saving lives. The disaster also underscored the need for sustainable development practices that prioritize environmental protection. Restoring mangroves and coral reefs can enhance coastal resilience, while avoiding construction in high-risk areas reduces vulnerability to future tsunamis. The legacy of the tsunami. A shared tragedy, the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami left an indelible mark on the world. It was a disaster that transcended borders, reminding humanity of the shared vulnerability and interconnectedness of our planet. The tragedy brought people together in solidarity, demonstrating the power of collective action in the face of adversity. While the scars of the tsunami remain, the resilience and determination of affected communities continue to inspire. Efforts to rebuild lives and ecosystems have yielded progress, showing that even in the wake of devastation, there is hope for recovery and renewal. Introduction. A city frozen in time. In 79 CE, one of history's most infamous natural disasters unfolded, the catastrophic eruption of Mount Vesuvius. Located near the bustling Roman city of Pompeii, the volcano erupted with a ferocity that buried the city under meters of ash and pumice. Thousands perished, and their once vibrant lives were immortalized in eerie casts, preserved beneath layers of volcanic debris. Pompeii is a symbol of both devastation and preservation, a place where tragedy became a window into the past. This segment explores the causes and impact of the eruption, the city's rediscovery, and the lessons it offers about the interplay between human settlements and natural forces. Mount Vesuvius, a geological giant. Mount Vesuvius, located on the Campanian Arc in southern Italy, is part of a subduction zone where the African tectonic plate is slipping beneath the Eurasian plate. This geological process generates immense pressure and heat, creating an active volcanic region. By 79 CE, Vesuvius had not erupted for centuries, leading the inhabitants of Pompeii and neighbouring towns to believe it was dormant. However, signs of activity had been present for weeks: minor tremors, rising temperatures, and changes in groundwater. These warnings were largely ignored, as earthquakes were common in the region and the danger of volcanic activity was not well understood at the time. The Eruption, a timeline of terror. On August 24, 79 CE, Mount Vesuvius erupted with catastrophic force. The eruption began with a massive column of ash and gas shooting tens of kilometers into the sky, known as a Plinian eruption. The column eventually collapsed, sending pyroclastic flows, fast-moving clouds of hot gas, ash and rock, down the slopes and into the surrounding towns. The city of Pompeii was overwhelmed. Ash rained down for hours, suffocating residents and collapsing buildings. Neighbouring towns such as Herculaneum faced even worse conditions, as pyroclastic flows vaporized everything in their path. By the end of the eruption, Pompeii and Herculaneum were buried under layers of volcanic material up to 6 meters thick. The disaster claimed thousands of lives, many of whom were unable to escape as the eruption unfolded rapidly. Some sought refuge indoors, while others fled toward the coast, only to be caught by the advancing flows. The suddenness of the event left the cities frozen in time, preserving a snapshot of Roman life in extraordinary detail. Rediscovery, unearthing the past. Pompeii remained buried for nearly 1,700 years, its memory lost to history. It wasn't until the late 16th century that the city was accidentally rediscovered during the digging of an irrigation channel. Serious archaeological excavations began in the mid-18th century, revealing the extent of the devastation and the remarkable preservation of the city. The ash and pumice acted as a seal, protecting Pompeii's buildings, artifacts, and even human remains from decay. Archaeologists uncovered homes, temples, shops, and streets that looked as though their inhabitants had only recently left. Food, tools, and graffiti provided glimpses into daily life, while plaster casts of victims captured their final moments. The discovery of Pompeii revolutionized our understanding of Roman society, offering insights into architecture, commerce, art, and social hierarchies. The city's preservation has made it one of the most important archaeological sites in the world, a treasure trove of historical knowledge. The human stories, tragedy, and resilience. Pompeii is more than just an archaeological site. It is a place where human stories come to life. The plaster casts of victims, created by injecting plaster into cavities left by decomposed bodies, reveal their positions and expressions in haunting detail. Families huddled together, individuals clutching valuables, and pets curled up in fear. All depict the human cost of the disaster. Graffiti and inscriptions found throughout Pompeii reveal the voices of its inhabitants, providing a glimpse into their thoughts, humour and daily concerns. One inscription reads, "I admired a wall," while another warns, "Beware of the dog." These snippets humanise the residents, reminding us that they were ordinary people with hopes and struggles. Despite the tragedy, Pompeii also reflects resilience. The Romans' ingenuity and adaptability are evident in their engineering and urban planning, which allowed them to thrive in a region prone to natural disasters. Their legacy endures in the artifacts and structures preserved by Vesuvius's eruption. Lessons from Pompeii. Living with nature. The story of Pompeii offers timeless lessons about humanity's relationship with nature. It highlights the importance of recognizing and responding to environmental warning signs, as many of the city's residents might have survived if they had evacuated earlier. The eruption serves as a reminder of the unpredictability of natural forces and the need for preparedness. Pompeii also underscores the fragility of human settlements in the face of natural disasters. As urbanization continues to expand, the risks posed by volcanoes, earthquakes, and other hazards demand careful planning and mitigation strategies. Modern technologies, such as volcanic monitoring systems, have been developed to prevent similar tragedies, ensuring that lessons from the past inform the future. The legacy of Pompeii, a window to the ancient world. Pompeii's preservation provides an unparalleled glimpse into Roman life, bridging the gap between history and archaeology. It has inspired countless works of art, literature, and film, cementing its place in the cultural imagination. The city is a testament to the resilience and creativity of its inhabitants, as well as a sobering reminder of the power of nature. Today, Pompeii stands as a symbol of both tragedy and hope, a place where history's lessons remain alive. It challenges us to reflect on our relationship with the environment and to ensure that future generations learn from the past.